What's up YouTube, Capital G here, looking at a brand new dinosaur support card coming out in Collector's Pack 17 in the OCG. I like the artwork of this card. I believe that it is depicting the extinction of the dinosaurs, where you guys know like the meteor hit the planet, then it caused, I believe, like a winter type climate all over the planet, and then the dinosaurs couldn't adapt and basically rest in pepperonis. No more dinosaurs except in the movies. I like that, but I've already read this card. I don't like it too much. Cap no want. I kind of understand what Konami was going for. It seems like they were trying to make this somewhat of a game-ending card and give it a very, very high ceiling. The problem is, I feel like they just kind of made it a complicated mess that's not practical at all and can backfire relatively easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and read you guys. This is Jurassic Impact. It's a trap card. If you control 2 or more dinosaur type monsters and your life points are lower than your opponent's, destroy as many monsters on the field as possible. If you do, take 1,000 damage for each monster destroyed and inflict damage to your opponent equal to the amount of damage you took. Until the end phase of the next turn after this card resolves, neither player can special summon or normal summon monsters. Alright, so there are definitely some things on this card that could make it quite powerful. The fact that it could basically be a Regeki, doesn't matter if the monsters are face up, face down. A Regeki you can activate during your opponent's turn. I mean, that's powerful. Locking your opponent out from special summoning monsters, that's very powerful too, and their normal summon. The problem is the activation conditions and just the fact that this card can backfire so fucking easily. I see so many situations where you literally kill yourself trying to resolve this damn thing, or you die soon after. For starters, 2 or more dinosaur monsters, like 2 monsters that are dinosaurs on the field, I don't think that that's that big of a deal. If you look historically at cards like Icarus Attack and every single deck that has gotten a Icarus Attack like card, pretty much those archetypes and those decks have maxed that card out. If it just would have been something simple like that, like, hey, you've got 2 dinosaurs, blow 2 cards up on the field, tribute your dinosaurs, or destroy 3 cards on the field, I would have been perfectly fine with that. Firelight, something like that. But I don't like the fact that your monsters die as well, and your life points have to be lower than your opponent. See, that's one of those things that like makes a card really bad in the TCG just off the jump, because we're not in a meta where we've got 3 Upstart Goblins and Chicken Game and Solemn Judgment and all these other cards that can easily manipulate life points. In the TCG, you basically have your 1 copy of Upstart and that's it. All the other cards that adjust life points, Konami has either limited them motherfuckers or banned them. So that already makes this card not that good in the TCG. And then that just the burn damage effect, why is that even in here? I don't understand why that's in here at all, because think about it, right? You have to have at least 2 monsters to even activate this. Ideally, you're going to want to activate it when your opponent has more monsters than you. So let's say that they have 3 monsters and you have 2, and you're like, okay, Cap, I'm going 3 for 3, perfectly fine. They won't be able to special summon after that, so they won't be able to do any damage. That's perfectly fine. You do realize you're about to take 5,000 burn damage, right? And your life points are lower than your opponent. So again, are you willing to take 5,000 burn damage from your own card? Like, that seems so fucking risky, man. You know, this card is one of those that the ceiling is really high. Potentially blowing up 5 monsters on your opponent's side of the field is really good, but if you blow up those 5 monsters and then you blow up your 2, that's 7,000. So it's like the more damage you do with this card, the more damage you do to yourself. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't know. I kind of get what they were going for with this card, but there's like 4 or 5 different ways that they could have just maybe adjusted this card a little bit, and it would have been a much better and more practical card, much more efficient, much more effective. Like, if they just would have taken out the stupid burn damage, like, this card would have been way better. If it was just 2 dinosaurs on the field, it didn't have to be your side of the field, this card would have been much better, because then you would have been able to just normal summon a dinosaur while under Lost World or the field spell, give your opponent a token, and bam, you would have already had this card locked and loaded or live. If your monsters didn't destroy by this effect, or if your monsters weren't destroyed by this effect, this would have been better. There's just, I don't know what they were going for, man. I think there were so many ways they could have made this card better. I think they wanted it to try and be like a card where you activate it during your opponent's turn and then next turn you just kill them, but I don't know. I see this card as way too risky, way too situational, and again, I just don't like the more monsters you blow up, the more damage you take, and your monsters also are guaranteed to die. So when you resolve this, you're guaranteed to lose 3 cards, and I'm not really investing 3 cards unless I'm guaranteed to win. So anyways, you guys let me know what you think. Thank you guys for watching. As always, subscribe if you have not already.